Hey everybody, and welcome back to Android Recommends. Today's recommendation is actually going to be for a newer video game, but still not current. We're going to be recommending Blur. Blur is a racing combat game developed by Bizarre Creations and published by Activision. It's a racing game in the vein of Need for Speed, with combat in the vein of Mario Kart. So you get real cars, but power-ups and blasting each other. I've been recommending this game for years at where I work, just because I love the game. I have a lot of fun with it. It's got both a single player and an online and offline multiplayer mode, so there's a lot of stuff to do fun to have. It's got couch co-op, it's got the online multiplayer if you've got friends that have it, you can play it on there. It's got basic car customization and sense of color, but because it's a combat game, you have power-ups. And so what I'm going to do is over the next little bit, I'm actually going to kind of show you an image and just go through the image and show you some of the things in the game, and then explain it a bit more. So here we go. So here's an image of the game with some gameplay going on. You see up top you've got a rearview mirror right here. In the rearview mirror you can see two of the on-the-ground power-ups. So just like in Mario Kart, there are power-ups that you race into and you can pick them up. And when you pick them up, they show up, if you look in here, at the bottom of the car. So if you look at the car here, it's got three different power-ups. Starting from left to right, you have the barge power-up, that's the purple one, and what it does is it sends out a shockwave. The shockwave is a short-range attack hitting anything within a meter of you for the entire 360 degrees around you, making it useful for close range. Next, in the middle, we have Shunt. So what Shunt does is it sends out a homing ball of energy. It fires forward and it'll either hit the person that you're aiming at, which will be shown by two little parentheses around that target that you're looking at, or if you're not looking at someone, it will go after first place. It's homing and it will continue going until it hits a wall, which isn't common, or until it hits a target or is destroyed by another attack. And on the right we have the mine. The mine is straightforward, you place it, it's a mine, people run into it. One other cool thing about the game is that a lot of the power-ups actually have alternate fires. So in the case of the mine, you can actually fire it forward. It goes forward a set distance, but almost instantly. So if you're aiming at someone and you hit it, you're almost guaranteed to hit them. The Shunt, if we go back there, actually its power-up is a reverse shot. So it'll fire backwards, but it's not homing. So it's good if someone's coming up right behind you. And lastly, you'll notice above the yellow car there, it's got green bars, as well as there are green bars underneath the rearview mirror. These are your character's health. So you diminish the health to 0, they wreck out, and then they have to respawn and continue racing. That's a quick description of how the game works, but there's so much more cool stuff to it, so if you get a chance, give it a shot. So when I first got the game Blur, I actually got it at the same time as another game came out, and I bought both of them to see which one I like better. So Blur, which like I said is kind of like Need for Speed meets Mario Kart, and then another game called Split Second. And the thing with Split Second, it was a very different take on the whole car combat idea. The basic premise was you were a contestant on a show that had an infinite budget. They had as much money as they wanted in space. And so all the races took place in complete facsimiles, like fake environments. So you had like racing through a city, but it was essentially an empty city built for the task of racing. And the reason why they had to do all this is because they had destruction moves. So as you'd go through and you were drifting and drafting people, you'd build up a little meter on the bottom, and when you had certain levels of the meter, you could cause crash events. So let's say someone's ahead of you and they're going through a shortcut, which is a gas station. Well, you could activate the gas station, blow it up, and take them out, and then they spawn behind you again. So it had stuff like that. And visually, it definitely looked bigger and better than what Blur did. But when I played it, my personal feelings were, I liked Blur a lot better. The racing was fine in Split Second, but it didn't feel as fun. And its multiplayer, well, was lacking. It didn't have the same functionality or fun to it as what the other one had. So I really enjoyed Blur. If you like the idea of Split Second, you can definitely find the trailer for it online. You may be able to find a copy that you can buy or download, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. But Blur was definitely the one I like, especially if you're a Mario Kart fan or a Need for Speed fan, because you get that kind of mix of the two worlds. I routinely will get friends together and we'll play it and have a ton of fun. But that's Blur. I recommend it. Hopefully if you get it and you enjoy it. If you don't get it, no worries. But take care and have a great day, guys.